The 15 words that you must know. If you know these 15 words, you can speak fluent English, and once you know them, you're able to speak them. Your English is amazing, so practice all these 15 words with me. Now I have a homework for all of you. Hello everybody, how are you? All hope you're doing great. So welcome back to another session of learning English, improving your English and speaking skills. Well, today's lesson is going to be another awesome lesson, because today I'm going to tell you about these 15 words that you must know to speak fluent English. So if you know these words, if you know them, your English will become amazing and you will be able to speak fluent English. Why? Because we need words to speak in English now. Today, I have included such words which are used in a lot of spoken English. These words are not just words that you learn for written English or highly formal English. No, these words are a part of your advanced English, yet they are used in everyday conversations and are used a lot in day-to-day life. So these words will make you speak fluent English. Are you all ready for this? I'm Lieber, your certified English language teacher computer, certified by the University of Cambridge, UK. And before beginning, please subscribe to the channel so that you can get all the lessons that I post for you on this channel. Please like the video and share it with your friends too. Okay, now coming back to today's lesson with these awesome 15 words. 15 essential words that you must know, and if you know them, your English will become amazing and you will speak fluent English. So let us begin with all the 15 words. Let's get started. Word number 1. Listen carefully. Everybody, it's Rosie. Now you must think Rosie is a very easy word. That's kind of a shade of a color. The pinkish shade, pinkish hue. Well, that's true. That is true. But do you know Rosie has another meaning? Let me tell you with a sentence, because we are going to learn everything with context. The purpose of today's lesson is to learn this vocabulary with context, because only then you'll be able to speak it. The sentence is the prospector sign. This deal seems rosy. That means if a situation is rosy, if something is rosy, it means it's indicating success or happiness. Something that is going to be hopeful in a positive way. So a rosy situation means a successful situation, a situation that will bring success, happiness, full of promises, a promising situation. Rosy is a very positive word, and it is used to describe a positive situation. So if a situation is positive, you say that's a rosy situation. Or you can also say that you felt rosy, right? You can also describe it as a feeling. But most of the time, this is described as a situation. For example, another example sentence could be, the financial condition of the company is rosy. We got a rosy opportunity to go and watch the match. Our day was rosy as we went out for a movie. So, rosy. Okay, so now it's your turn. You have to make sentences on your own. Till then, let's move on to the next word. Now, word number 2. Listen carefully. First, it's contemplate. Contemplate. You can repeat. Now repeat. Contemplate. Contemplate. Let's look at the sentence first. He contemplated the situation before giving any answer. He contemplated the situation before giving any answer. So contemplate is basically to think about something. Think deeply about something. So thinking for a very long time, or thinking too deeply about something is contemplate, right? People often contemplate before taking a decision, and people contemplate when they are analyzing a situation. That means they're thinking too deeply about a situation, thinking about something for a long time, being very thoughtful in your decision or something. Another sentence could be, she contemplates her future too often. That means she constantly thinks too deeply about her future all the time. I think that happens with all the teenagers and everyone who's growing up. I think normally that happens with people, right? So, a word with context. To contemplate a situation is to think too deeply about a situation or think too deeply about something for a very long time. Now, word number 3. Listen carefully, everybody. It's delusion. Delusion. Now repeat for pronunciation. Delusion. Once again, delusion. That's absolutely amazing. Now, delusion, I think that is something you're familiar with. We hear it a lot. You need to come out of your delusion and accept the reality. You need to come out of your delusion and accept the reality. So, delusion. Delusion is basically a situation that we have created in our mind, which is not real. It's fake. So, delusion can be anything. When you know about the facts, specifically, like if a person knows that the prospect of that person getting promoted is kind of non-existent, like they're not much, because there are other contenders who might have performed better. Now still, this person is thinking that, no, I will get promoted even after knowing that the other person or the other contenders performed better, and they are not accepting the reality, and they're living in this delusion that I'm going to get promoted. That is kind of delusion. That you know about the facts, still, you want to live in that fantasy or the fake world that you have created. That is delusion. So, yeah, you can use this word now correctly. That is delusion. Another sentence could be, he's being delusional to think that he's going to get promoted. He will get promoted. He's being delusional to think that he will get promoted. So, delusional is basically kind of an adjective you're using, and delusion is the noun. Same word, but different versions. So we know that we can use a word in many different ways. Delusion, delusional, when you don't want to accept the reality. So that is the word. Now, word number 4. Listen carefully, everybody. Blemish. Repeat after me. Blemish. Yes, once again, blemish. Excellent. Now, blemish. For that, you need to hear the sentence, there was no blemish on her beautiful white dress. There was no blemish on her beautiful white dress. Now, blemish on a white dress means a mark or a spot. So blemish is basically to spoil an appearance by a spot or a mark that spoils the appearance of something. So a blemish can be the spot of an ink on the white dress. It can be the spot of something that you eat, or it might have fallen down. So, there was no blemish on her beautiful white dress means it was not spoiled, without any mark, without any spot. So blemish is like a spot in the appearance. Blemish is also used for situations. For example, a particular situation is spoiled by a particular action. You can say, it's blemished. That means everything was so good, everything was going so well, then something happened. And that was a blemish in the whole event, or the whole situation. For example, everything is going good, you might be taking a decision for a project, and suddenly One of the team members who is performing really well and giving ideas is changed and replaced by somebody else. So you still have the problem. You can say, for example, that in that project everything is doing well, but because that one person was replaced, you were not able to meet the deadline because that person took a little bit of time to get adjusted to this particular project. That means the changing of the team member was a blemish as the team missed the due date for the project. So that is how you're forming the sentences for the word blemish. So it's a word that you can use anytime you want to refer to a situation. Or, yeah, if you want to talk about the appearance, the clothes, yeah, use the word blemish. Word number 5. Listen carefully, everybody, and that is fiasco. Now, fiasco, this word is kind of popular these days. When you speak English, you'll hear it a lot. It's not in spoken English. F-I-A-S-C-O. What is the meaning of fiasco? Let's listen to the sentence first. The whole meeting ended up in a fiasco. The whole meeting ended up in a fiasco. So, fiasco is basically a kind of disaster. Not a natural disaster, obviously, but a disaster means kind of a very bad situation. Something that is ending up in a bad situation, or not as expected. You can say it's kind of a mess. You know when you want to say that this situation is such a mess, that you're not able to understand what is happening or what happened, and it's a complete failure as you can see. So, the whole meeting ended up in a fiasco, maybe because people were not able to take a decision. There were so many conflicting ideas that the meeting ended up in an argument. And yeah, no result. That means it's a fiasco, right? A complete failure, a disaster of a situation. So, it's used a lot in business English. It's used a lot to describe a situation, anything that is happening. And yeah, if you want to describe it, use the word fiasco. Fiasco is always used in reference to a situation, a particular situation, a particular happening. Another example could be the party turned into a fiasco because two people started arguing. The party turned into a fiasco because two people started arguing. So, fiasco is like, yeah, everything was going great. And then suddenly, everything went downhill. Everything was a mess. So, fiasco. Next word, word number 6. Listen carefully, everybody. It's an easy word. Root, root. Now, root is very easy. It's simple. Root is basically the base of any plant, right? Specifically the cause of any problematic situation, the cause of any problem, why something is happening. And there is also a particular phrase known as root cause. So root is basically when you want to find out what has actually led to a particular situation, the beginning of something where everything began from what was the cause, the reason. That is root. For example, we need to find the root cause of the delay immediately. Let's organize a meeting to discuss the root of this particular issue. So root of the issue means the cause of the issue. What is basically causing this particular issue? Root cause is a phrase that we use a lot, and root means the base or the cause of a particular issue, situation, or problem. Word number 7. Listen carefully, everybody. Word number 7 is exaggerate, exaggerate. Now repeat after me. Exaggerate, exaggerate. Remember, there is a double G in this phrase. Spelling, but we do not say G, right? Exaggerate, exaggerate. Excellent. Now, what is exaggerate? Do not exaggerate the situation by adding unnecessary details. Do not exaggerate the situation by adding unnecessary details. Sales exaggerate. So exaggerate is basically to make it seem larger than it is. So exaggerate is basically to make it seem larger than it is. So exaggerate is, and you're going to exaggerate the price of that particular thing. I bought it for this and that. I bought it from here and that. So that is kind of exaggerating the thing. You get to attend an event and you tell details about it that were not true, and you're exaggerating. That means you're adding something which is more than what the event was. That means you're exaggerating. You're making it seem larger than the reality in reality what it was. For example, a very basic example could be that you stayed in a 3-star hotel on your vacation and you made it sound like a 5-star hotel. Or you're telling everybody that you stayed in a 5-star hotel. It's like exaggerating the thing, kind of exaggerating things. So the basic example could be that exaggerate is to just add on details and make things so magnificent. In reality, they are not that magnificent, or you make them larger than reality. Another example could be stop exaggerating about the party that you attended, or stop exaggerating the details of this project. Word number 8. Word number 8 is, listen carefully everybody, euphoria. Euphoria. Repeat after me, euphoria. Once again, euphoria. Euphoria. The team felt a sense of euphoria after winning the match. Yes, euphoria is basically to feel extremely happy about something. If you are extremely happy, it's a sense of happiness, a sense of achievement, excitement for something, a particular situation, and it arises due to a particular situation. And that is kind of like Sheely, perhaps meant assessly or Sheely. For example, the students were euphoric to know their results. My friend was caught up in euphoria after getting admission into her dream college. So, euphoria is basically that sense of extreme happiness that you experience because you've achieved something great. So, it produces from a moment of greatness. For example, winning a match is basically a big deal. Getting admission into your dream college is a big deal. Getting great results after an exam is a big deal. So, all these situations can be described as euphoric situations, where you experience extreme happiness, a feeling of being elated, like feeling like you're at the top of the world. That kind of feeling, that is euphoria. Word number 9, listen to it carefully, everybody. Feudal, now repeat after me, feudal, feudal, feudal. All her efforts to make the project were futile as it rained heavily the next day. So all her efforts to make a great science project were futile because it rained heavily the next day. Futile means useless. Futile means that whatever you have done, it's useless, not of any use. So, futile, your efforts for this project will become futile if you do not add more members to your team. That means use less. If you don't submit this assignment on the deadline, your assignment will become futile. So, the assignment is going to be futile because the teacher might not accept the assignment after the due date, after the end date, and hence the assignment is futile. No use of the assignment after that. So, futile is something that has become useless, or a situation that is useless, efforts that are useless. Sentence number 10. Listen carefully, everybody. Inevitable. Inevitable. Repeat after me. Inevitable. The inevitable appointment of the new CEO was an inevitable decision. I wanted to speak English well, though I wanted to be fluent, but I was shy and made many mistakes. One day, a teacher said to me, "You can be fluent if you practice every day." This sentence changed my life. When you want something, you must work for it. If fluency does not come in one day, it is like planting a tree. You put the seed in the ground, water it, and give it sunshine. Every day, you care for it. And then one day, the tree grows big and strong. The same is true for fluency. One day, a student came to me. She was very sad. She said, "Teacher, I want to speak English, but I always forget the words." I smiled and said, "Do not worry. Fluency is not about fluency. It is about remembering all the words. It is about practice." She looked at me with hope in her eyes. "But how can I practice?" she asked. I told her, "Practice is everywhere. You can practice by talking to your friends, by listening to stories, by singing songs. You can practice every moment of the day." I remember when I was in school. I loved stories. I would listen to them every night. My teacher would was, and I would repeat the words. At first, I was slow, but with time, I became faster. I learned new words, and my confidence grew. Another student asked me, "Teacher, is fluency only about speaking fast?" I said no. Fluency is about speaking clearly. It is about making others understand you. You do not have to speak quickly. You have to speak with confidence. There was once a boy in my class who spoke very fast, but no one understood him. Could I told him, "Slow down, speak clearly, use simple words." He listened, and soon everyone could understand him. He became more confident and enjoyed speaking in English. Fluency is like a journey. You take one step at a time. You do not rush. You enjoy the process. One day, you look back and see how far you have come. I have seen many students who were afraid to speak at first, but with time and practice, they became fluent. There is a secret practice. They became fluent. There is a secret to gaining fluency. It is a simple secret. The secret is to listen. Listen to others speak English. Listen to stories. Listen to songs. Listen to conversations. The more you listen, the more you learn. I once knew a girl who loved music. She would listen to English songs every day. As soon as she started singing along, her fluency improved because she was listening and repeating. Another important thing is to not be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are our best teachers. I remember a student who was very afraid of making mistakes. She would not speak because she thought others would laugh at her. I told her, "Do not worry about mistakes. Every mistake is a lesson." One day, she decided to speak in class. She made many mistakes, but she did not stop. She kept speaking. Fluency is also about thinking in English. When you think in English, you start to speak more naturally. I once had a student who always translated from his language to English. This made him slow and confused. I told him, "Try to think in English. Even when you are alone, think in English." He tried this, and slowly, he became more fluent. There was another student who loved to talk. He would talk about anything and everything, but he had a problem. He would start a sentence in English and then switch to his native language. I told him, "Try to stay in English. Even if you don't know a word, try to explain it in English. This helped him stay focused, and soon he was speaking only in English. Reading is another way to gain fluency. When you read, you see how sentences are formed. You learn new words. I remember when I was learning English, I would read simple books. Every time I found a new word, I would write it down. Then I would try to use it in a sentence. This helped me remember the words and use them when I spoke. One day, a student came to me with a book. She said, "Teacher, I read this book, but I did not understand everything." I told her, "That is okay. The more you read, the more you will understand." She continued to read every day. After some time, she came to me and said, "Now I understand much more." Her fluency improved because she was reading and learning new things every day. A fluency is also about listening to yourself. Sometimes you need to record yourself speaking, then listen to it. See where you can improve. I once had a student who did this every day. She would record herself reading a story, then she would listen to the recording and find areas where she could improve. This practice made her more aware of her speech, and soon she became fluent. Practicing with a friend is another great way to gain fluency. I had two students who were best friends. They were both fluent in English, and they were able to speak only in English with each other. Every day, they would have conversations in English, helping each other with words they didn't know. Over time, both of them became very fluent. They learned from each other and enjoyed the process. Fluency also comes from using the language in real-life situations. When you go to the market, try to speak in English. When you are with friends, try to use English. The more you use the language, the more fluent you become. I have had a student who worked in a shop, decided to speak only in English with his customers. At first it was difficult, but with time he became more confident and fluent. Fluency is also about being curious. When you hear a new word, don't ignore it. Find out what it means and try to use it in your next conversation. I remember a student who was very curious. Every time he heard a new word, he would ask me what it meant. Then he would try to use that word as much as possible. His vocabulary grew, and so did his fluency. It is also important to have a goal. Ask yourself, why do I want to be fluent in English? When you have a clear goal, you are more motivated. I knew a student who wanted to travel to an English-speaking country. This was her goal. Every day, she practiced speaking English because she wanted to be ready for her trip. Her goal kept her motivated, and she became fluent before she traveled. He would watch one movie every night. At first, he used subtitles, but after a while, he started watching without them. He enjoyed the movies, and at the same time, he was improving his fluency. Fluency is about repetition. The more you repeat, the better you become. I remember a student who loved to repeat sentences. He would hear something in class and then say it over and over again. This helped him remember the sentences, and soon he was using them in his daily conversations. Speaking with different people also helps with fluency. Every person has a different way of speaking. When you talk to different people, you learn different styles of speaking. I once had a student who was very shy. He only spoke to me. I encouraged him to speak to other students. At first, he was nervous, but with time, he became more comfortable. He learned new ways of expressing himself, and his fluency improved. Sometimes it is good to practice speaking about topics you love. When you talk about something you enjoy, you are more passionate, and the words come more easily. I had a student who loved football. Every day, he would talk to me about football. This helped him become more fluent because he was speaking about something he was excited about. Fluency also comes from understanding that it's okay to not know everything. Sometimes you may not know a word, and that is okay. Try to explain it in another way. I had a student who always wanted to know the exact word for everything. If he didn't know the word, he would stop speaking. I told him, if you don't know the word, try to describe it. This helped him keep the conversation going, even when he didn't know the exact word. A student once asked me, "Teacher, how long will it take to become fluent?" I told him, it depends on how much you practice. Some people become fluent in a few months, while for others, it takes longer. But the important thing is to keep going. Do not stop. This student practiced every day and soon saw progress. Sometimes it is helpful to practice in front of a mirror. When you see yourself speaking, you become more aware of your expressions and gestures. I had a student who was very shy. She did not like to speak in front of. I told her to practice in front of a mirror. This helped her become more confident, and soon she was speaking more fluently. Another student asked me, "Teacher, what should I do if I forget a word while speaking?" I told him, do not stop. Keep talking. Sometimes the word will come to you later. If not, use another word. This helped him stay calm when speaking, and he didn't worry about forgetting words. It is also important to take breaks sometimes. Your brain needs rest after a long day of practice. It is good to relax. I knew a student who practiced all the time. She became very tired and started to feel frustrated. I told her, take a break, relax, come back tomorrow with a fresh mind. After taking breaks, she felt better, and her fluency continued to improve. Fluency is also about using the language in creative ways. You can write a short story, sing a song, or even make a video. I had a student who loved to write. She would write short stories in English every day. This helped her practice new words and sentences. Soon she started reading her stories aloud, and her fluency improved. Another way to practice is by teaching others. When you teach, you learn even more. I had a student who was very fluent. She decided to help her friends who were not as fluent. Words and practice speaking with them. This not only helped her friends, but also made her even more fluent. Sometimes it helps to have a routine. Set a time every day to practice speaking English. I had a student who would practice every morning for 30 minutes. This was his routine. I kept going. Slowly, I got better. I learned more and more. So, always remember to be patient. You will get there, step by step. Now let's talk about using a dictionary. Is your friend. It helps you understand new words. When you find a word you don't know, look it up. Learn what it means. Learn how to say it. And then try to use it in a sentence. I used to carry a small dictionary with me. Every time I heard a new word, I looked it up. Then I tried to use it. This helped me learn many new words. So, always have a dictionary with you. It will help you a lot. Another good tip is to play games in English. Games are fun. They help you learn without feeling like you are studying. There are many games that teach you English. You can play word games, puzzles, or even quiz games. When I was learning, I played a word game with my friends. We had to find as many words as we could. Be hard at first, but it helps a lot. When you think in English, you practice your skills. You learn to use the words you know, and you also learn to make sentences quickly. I started thinking in English when I was learning. At first, it was hard. I had to translate everything in my head, but slowly it became easier. I started thinking in English without even trying. So, try to think in English. It will help you get better. Another tip is to set goals. Goals help you stay focused. They give you something to work towards. Start with small goals. For example, learn 5 new words each day. Read 1 page of a book every day. As you reach your goals, you will feel proud. It will motivate you to keep going. I set small goals when I was learning. My first goal was to learn 10 new words a week. Then, I set a goal to read a book in English. Reaching these goals made me happy. It showed me that I was getting better. So, set goals for yourself. They will help you a lot. It's also good to review what you learn. When you review, you remember things better. Look at your notes, read your old writings, or listen to the same story again. The more you review, the more you remember. I used to review my notes every week. I read them over and over. This helped me remember what I learned. It also helped me see how much I had improved. So take time to review. It will help you a lot. Another important thing is to stay positive. Learning a new language can be hard, but if you stay positive, it becomes easier. Believe in yourself. You can do it. When you feel down, remember why you started. Keep your goal in mind. I had times when I felt like giving up, but I stayed positive. I told myself that I could do it, and I did. Staying positive helped me a lot, so always stay positive. It will help you reach your goal. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes them. When you make a mistake, don't feel bad. Learn from it. It will help you get better. I made many mistakes when I was learning, but I did not let them stop me. I learned from them, and I got better. So don't be afraid of mistakes. They are your best teachers. Lastly, enjoy the journey. Learning English is a journey. It's full of new things to discover. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. The more you enjoy it, the easier it becomes. When I was learning, I enjoyed every step. I loved learning new words. I loved understanding new stories. Enjoying the journey made it fun and helped me learn faster. So, enjoy your journey. It will make learning English much easier. As we continue on this journey, let's remember another tip. Surround yourself with English. This means try to be around English as much as you can. Listen to English music, watch English movies, and read English signs. The more you see and hear English, the more you will learn. I remember when I started learning, I changed the language on my phone to English. At first, It was hard to understand everything, but soon I got used to it. Every time I used my phone, I learned something new. So, surround yourself with English. It will help you learn faster. Another helpful tip is to repeat. Repetition is very important when learning a new language. When you repeat something, you remember it better. So don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words or sentences again and again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. Don't be afraid to go over the same words over and over again. I used to repeat words out loud every day. I said them until they became easy to remember. Repeating helped me a lot. It made me more confident. So repeat everything you learn. It will make a big difference. Sometimes learning can feel boring, but you can make it fun. You can sing songs in English. Singing helps you remember words, plus it's a lot of fun. You can also make up little stories with the words you know. This way, learning becomes like a game. I used to sing songs in English every morning. It made me happy and ready to learn more. Sometimes I made up funny stories. Sometimes I made up funny stories with my new words. This made enjoyable. Was scared. I wanted to help them. I wanted to make them better. I watched older doctors. They were fast. They knew what to do. I wanted to be like them. I followed them. I listened to their words. I learned from them. One day, I helped an old man. He had trouble breathing. He could not talk well. His hands were cold. His face was pale. I gave him oxygen. I held his hand. "You will be okay." His face changed. He smiled. "Thank you, doctor." That moment was special. I felt proud. I knew I was in the right place. I knew I made the right choice. I worked in many hospitals. I met many patients. Some had small problems. Some had big problems. I gave medicine. I gave hope. Their smiles made me strong. Their words gave me energy. I wanted to do more. I wanted to save more lives. I wanted to be the best doctor. But then something happened. My father became sick. He was strong before. He never needed a doctor. But now he was weak. He could not walk well. He could not eat much. He slept a lot. He looked tired. I felt afraid. I was a doctor, but I was also his. I was his son. I wanted to help him, but I was scared. I did not want to lose him. I told myself I must be strong, but inside I was worried. I did not know what to do. I took my father to the hospital. I told the doctors, "Please help him." They asked many questions. They checked his heart. They checked his lungs. They did tests. I watched them carefully. I wanted to believe everything would be fine. But deep inside, I was afraid. I had seen many sick people. I had helped many patients. But this was different. This was my father. Days passed. My father stayed in the hospital. I sat beside him. I held his hand. He looked at me and smiled. He said, "Do not worry." But I could see the pain in his eyes. He was weak. He could not eat much. He spoke slowly. I wanted to do something. I wanted to make him strong again. But I knew that medicine takes time. I told myself, "Be patient." The doctors gave him medicine. They said, "He needs rest." I watched the nurses. They changed his sheets. They gave him food. They checked his temperature. I knew they were doing their best, but it was hard for me to just watch. I wanted to help. I wanted to do more, but I was not his doctor. I was his son. Every night I stayed with him. I listened to his breathing. I checked his pulse. I watched the machines. I knew what the doctor was doing. I knew what the numbers meant. I knew what the medicine did, but I still felt helpless. I thought about my patients. I thought about the people I had saved. I had always felt strong. I had always known what to do. But now I was not sure. One day my father looked at me. "You are a good doctor." His voice was soft. His eyes were warm. I smiled, but inside I felt pain. I wanted to hear him say, "I feel better." But he did not say that. He just looked at me with love. I held his hand. I said, "You will be fine." I wanted to believe my own words. I wanted to be sure. More days passed. My father stayed in bed. He was tired. He slept a lot. He was tired. Sometimes he did not talk much. I brought him books. I told him stories. I wanted to make him happy. I wanted to make him laugh. But I saw the worry in his eyes, and I was trying to be strong for him. I woke up early every day. I went to the hospital. I sat next to my father. I held him close. I held him close. I held him close. I held him close. His hand. I asked him, "How do you feel?" He always said, "I don't know." His hands were cold. His face looked tired. I tried to smile. I did not want him to see my worry. I wanted to be strong for him. The doctors came to check on him. They looked at the test results. They spoke in low voices. I listened carefully. They said, "He needs more time." I wanted a better answer. I wanted to hear, "He is getting better." But they did not say that. I asked many questions. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to help. But this time, I was not the doctor. I was just a son. I sat by his bed. I read books to him. I told him about my work. I told him about my patients. He listened. He said, "You are a good doctor." His words made me proud. But I wanted to hear him say, "I feel better." I wanted to see him walk again. I wanted to see him eat well. But he was still weak. At night, I watched him sleep. I checked his breathing. I looked at the machines. The numbers were the same. Nothing was worse, but nothing was better. I closed my eyes. I thought about my patients. I thought about my past. I thought about my childhood. My father was always strong. He worked hard. He took care of me. And now he was in bed. He needed me. But I did not know how to help him. One day, I brought him outside. I pushed his wheelchair. The sun was bright. The sky was blue. He looked at the trees. He smiled. He said, "You are a good doctor." He said, "It feels good to be outside." I was happy to see him smile. I wanted him to feel normal again. I wanted him to believe that he could be strong again. I said, "You will walk again soon." He nodded, but his eyes showed doubt. More days passed. He still needed help. He still needed medicine, but I did not give up. I stayed with him. I talked to him. I helped him eat. I told myself he will get better. I wanted to believe it. I had to believe it. I was a doctor. I had saved so many lives. And now I needed to save his. Every morning I sat beside my father. I watched him wake up slowly. I watched him wake up slowly. He moved his hands carefully. He looked at me and smiled. I asked, "Did you sleep well?" He always said yes, but I knew he did not sleep well. He woke up many times during the night. He coughed. He turned in bed. He was uncomfortable, but he did not complain. He did not want me to worry. The nurses came to check him. They asked him questions. They gave him medicine. They wrote notes in their papers. I watched them. I wanted to know every detail. I wanted to understand his progress. I wanted to understand his progress. They said, "He is stable." I wanted to hear more. I wanted to hear he is getting better. I wanted to hear he is getting better. But they did not say that. I tried to stay positive. I tried to be patient. In the afternoon, he died again. The air was fresh. The sun was warm. He looked at the flowers in the garden. He said, "It is beautiful here." I smiled. I wanted him to enjoy the moment. I wanted him to feel happy. I pushed his wheelchair slowly. I pushed his wheelchair slowly. I talked to him. I told him stories from the hospital. He listened. He laughed a little. He loved hearing his laughter. At night, I sat in his room. I watched him eat. He ate very little. I asked, "Do you want more?" He shook his head. I wished I could make him stronger. I wished I could do more, but I knew I had to be patient. I had to wait. I had to believe that time would help him heal. I told myself, he will recover. He looked at me. He said, "You work too hard. You need rest." I smiled. I said, "I am fine," but I knew I was tired. I had not slept well for many days, but I did not care. My father was more important. I wanted to be there for him. I wanted to take care of him, just like he had taken care of me when I was a child. More days passed. I watched him closely. I checked his pulse. I looked at his face. Some days he looked better. Some days he looked tired, but he never gave up. He kept trying, and I stayed with him. I held his hand. I talked to him because I believed he would get better, because I needed him to get better. Days turned into weeks. I spent every moment with my father. I watched his every move. I noticed small changes. Some days he sat up longer. Some days he ate a little more. These small things gave me hope. He is getting better. But I was still afraid. I wanted to see big changes. I wanted to see him walk again. I wanted him to be strong like before. One morning he looked at me and said, "I want to try walking." His voice was soft but determined. I felt a mix of emotions. I was happy, but I was also scared. I knew he was still weak. I did not want him to fall, but I smiled and said, "Okay, let's try." Held his arm. Slowly, he put his feet on the floor. He stood up, shaking. He took one small step, then another. My heart was racing. He was walking. He sat back down after a few steps. He was tired, but he was smiling. I felt tears in my eyes. I said, "You did it." He nodded. "I will try again tomorrow," he said. I held his hand. "Yes, you will," I whispered. At that moment, I felt something change. I felt real hope. For the first time in weeks, I believed he would recover. The doctors saw his progress. They were happy. They said, "He is improving." Those words felt like music to my ears. The nurses smiled at him. They encouraged him. He tried walking every day. He was slow, but he did not stop. He pushed himself. He wanted to be strong again. I admired his courage. He never gave up. One evening, we sat outside. The sky was orange and pink. The air was cool. My father looked at me. He said, "You have taken good care of me." I smiled. "You took care of me first," I said. He laughed softly. He reached for my hand. "I am proud of you," he said. I felt warmth in my heart. Those words meant everything to me. I watched him closely. He still needed rest. He still needed medicine, but he was better. 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 He was better than before. I knew he was on the right path. I knew he would be okay. I told myself, this is why I became a doctor. I wanted to help people. I wanted to give them hope. And now I was giving hope to the person I loved the most. More time passed. My father kept trying. He walked more. He ate more. He talked more. The hospital was not his home anymore. He was getting ready to leave. I felt relief. I felt happiness. I had spent years saving lives, but this time, saving my father's life meant everything. The day finally came. My father was ready to leave the hospital. The doctor said, "He can go home now." I felt happiness in my heart. I had waited for this moment. I had dreamed about it. My father smiled at me. He was still weak, but he was stronger than before. He said, "Let's go home." Those words felt like magic. They felt like victory. I helped him into the car. He looked outside the window. The city was busy. People walked fast. Cars moved quickly. Life outside the hospital felt different. It felt normal. My father took a deep breath. "Fresh air," he said. I laughed. "Yes, fresh air," I said. I knew he had missed the outside world. He had missed home. When we arrived home, I helped him inside. He sat in his favorite chair. He looked around. "I miss this place." I smiled. "This place missed you too," I said. My mother brought him tea. He held the warm cup in his hands. He took a sip. He closed his eyes. "Perfect," he whispered. I could see the peace in his face. He was home. The days passed. My father walked more. He moved slowly, but he did not stop. He sat in the garden. He enjoyed the sun. He read books. He listened to music. He talked to my mother. He laughed with me. Every little thing felt special. Every small moment felt important. I watched him carefully. I saw his strength return. One afternoon, he called me. "Come here," he said. I sat next to him. He looked at me with warm eyes. "You have been a great son," he said, "and a great doctor." I felt my heart grow warm. "I just did what you taught me," I said. He smiled. "You saved me," he whispered. I held his hand. "You saved yourself," I said. I thought about my journey. I had saved many lives. I had seen many patients recover. But this was different. This was personal. I had fought for my father's life. I had stayed with him every day. I had believed in him when he was weak, and now he was strong again. I knew I would never forget this experience. More time passed. My father became himself again. He walked without help. He ate well. He laughed often. I looked at him and felt proud. He had won his battle, and I had learned something important. Being a doctor is not just about medicine. It is about hope. It is about love. It is about never giving up. I sat with my father in the garden. The sky was blue. The birds sang. He looked at me and said, "You are a good man." I smiled. "I had a great teacher," I said. He laughed. We sat there in silence, enjoying the moment. I felt peace. I felt happiness. My father was here. He was alive. And that was all that mattered. Thank you all for your time and attention today. I hope you found the lecture insightful. Take care, and I look forward to our next session. This is not just happening to you. Millions of people around the world are struggling with social media addiction. Even celebrities, billionaires, and successful people have faced this issue. For example, Tom Holland, the famous actor from Spider-Man, once admitted in an interview that he was completely obsessed with social media. He said that every time he posted something, he kept checking his phone again and again to see how many likes and comments he got. And guess what? It made him anxious. It made him insecure. He finally deleted social media from his phone because he realized it was affecting his mental health. But why does this happen? Why do we become addicted to social media? When you open Instagram, what do you see? Someone traveling to Paris, someone showing off their new car, someone posting a perfect relationship picture, someone celebrating a big achievement. And what do? You start comparing your life with them. Why am I not traveling? Why don't I have a new car? Why is my relationship not perfect? Why am I not successful yet? This comparison makes you feel bad about your own life. But here's the truth. Social media is fake. People only show their best moments, not their struggles. They use filters to make everything look better. Even celebrities edit their pictures to look more like themselves. They only show you things that you don't know. More attractive. But your brain doesn't understand this. Your brain believes what it sees. That's why you feel like your life is not good enough. And when you feel bad, what do? You scroll more. You keep looking for more content, more entertainment, more distraction. And this is where the real problem begins. Dopamine addiction. Let me ask you, can you watch a 30-minute educational video without feeling bored? Most people can't, but they can easily watch 30 short videos, each 1 minute long. Why? Because of dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical in your brain that makes you feel good. It is released when you eat your favorite food. You achieve something. You get a like or comment on your post. Social media hacks this system. It gives you small rewards. Again and again. Instantly. One notification. Dopamine boost. One new like. Dopamine boost. One new comment. Dopamine boost. Every time you scroll, your brain gets a small hit of dopamine. And just like a drug addict needs more drugs to feel good, you need more scrolling, more videos, more likes. According to research, social media designed to be as addictive as gambling. When you pull the screen down to refresh, your brain reacts like a gambler pulling the lever of a slot machine. You don't know what's coming next, and that excitement keeps you hooked. This is why you can't stop scrolling. Think about this. Why are we not addicted to studying? Why are we not addicted to exercise? Why are we not addicted to meditation? Because these things give slow rewards. If you study today, you don't get instant success. If you exercise today, you don't see six-pack abs immediately. If you meditate today, you don't feel the benefits right away. But social media, instant pleasure, instant fun, instant dopamine. And this is the reason good habits are hard to get rid of. Social media tricks your brain into choosing temporary pleasure over long-term success. By now, you understand that social media addiction is real. It's not just your fault. Many genius people, engineers, psychologists, and data scientists work every day to make sure you stay addicted. Think about it. When you watch one video, the algorithm immediately recommends another similar video. When you like a post, the app shows you more posts just like that. When you scroll on TikTok or Instagram Reels, the next video loads automatically, so you don't even have to click. These apps are designed to control your attention. It's their profit, but your loss. Your time is gone. Your energy is wasted. Your focus is destroyed. Your real life is slipping away. Now the big question is, how do you escape? How do you break free? Don't worry, I will tell you exactly how. Step 1. Understand that social media is a trap. The first step to breaking free is to realize that social media is designed to keep you stuck. They don't want you to use their app for 10 minutes. They want you to stay for hours. The more you stay, the more money they make from ads. And what do you lose? Your dreams, your future, your life. So before you pick up your phone, ask yourself one question. Am I using social media, or is social media using me? If the answer is that social media is controlling you, then it's time to change. Step 2. Turn off notifications. Think about this. How many times does your phone beep in a day? New message, new comment, someone liked your post. Every notification pulls your attention away. According to research, once your focus is broken, it takes 23 minutes to fully concentrate again.